I stumbled across something a little bit different in an online auction. A pair of mid-century Bentwood coal scuttles. These were used to collect and store coal. I managed to scoop them up for a winning bid of £10 and off I went to collect them.
Alright, I've just picked them up. Here's one here, I'll show you this one. Really funky. They are tired, but that gives us something to work with, doesn't it? Really cool. I think a lot of effort's gone into making them, to be honest. £12.30 for two of them. That's a bargain, and this place is about 20-minute drive from my house. So I'll be keeping my eye on this auction for further bits and pieces. But let's get them home and take a better look. So you can see here we've got some veneer damage across the front. This one's got a little on the side as well. This one at the back, just from its usual wear and tear really. So I probably won't do too much here because this is, it's character, it's life. Also has a split in the handle here. Bit of veneer missing from that one. This one's finish is in slightly better condition than this one. This one's really faded. I'd say that's just spent some time outside.
You can see these have been well used, but I don't think I'll be doing much to the insides as they won't be seen. And to kick things off, I take some before shots. I am pretty sure these rivets are made of copper, but they are well and truly attached, and removing them isn't really going to be super beneficial. So I'll leave them in place and polish them up with some metal polish. They don't scrub up too badly at all. I am now going to make a start on all of the veneer repairs. I use a ruler and a Stanley knife to try and clean up the missing pieces. It is much easier to work with straight lines when replacing veneer, so I do my best to keep them as straight as possible. I have this scrap beech plywood that is a little bit thicker than needed, but I can separate the sheets, so I should be able to get a thickness nice and close to what's required. I find that if you let the glue sit for about 30 seconds to a minute before applying the veneer pieces, it becomes nice and tacky and is much more adherent. The veneer I'm working with is quite thick and this handle has a curve, so if I apply the pressure required to stick this down, it will break. So I pop it into some boiling water for a couple of minutes and it becomes nice and soft. It's now much easier to bend and work with, and you can see it's sitting nicely along the curve of the handle. This break has gone all the way through the wood, and it's going to require a little bit more support. So I get some wood filler mixed up and on the go. I also use it over the veneer patches just in case there are any gaps where the veneer isn't the perfect fit. I tidy up the inside just a little bit by removing any of the plywood that's super loose and about to break off. These pieces aren't too loose, so I'll just leave them in place. It's now time to remove what finish is left, and I start with my scraper, which does an okay job. Because there isn't actually too much finish to remove, it doesn't take me too long to work out that using 120 grit sandpaper actually works much better. It is around about this point in the project that we take off to Turkey for a family holiday and my wife's sister's wedding. My wife was the bridesmaid and Sonny was the page boy. So massive congratulations to Georgia and Rob. And thank you for a very good excuse to take a holiday. And 10 days later, I am back to work. This one basically has no finish at all, and I don't want to remove all the character, so I'm just going to smooth it out for its new finish. Along the way I noticed some veneer lifting here and there, so I just glue it back down. The replacement veneer pieces are standing out like a sore thumb, so I'm going to make a start on blending them in. It is a process, and this is just the first step of many. I start with furniture markers, and I know it looks absolutely terrible, but you have to start somewhere. Before I continue with the blending, I'm going to spray them down and give them a good clean. This will also give me a chance to raise the grain before a final sand. And you can really see the colour of the wood really pops when it's wet, and that gives me a good idea of what they'll look like once I've applied the finish. But it's now time to continue with my blending. My process is to add some colour and then sand it back a little. I repeat this until I'm happy enough. Eventually I start using some stain to colour match a little further. While I work away at this, I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for tuning in. If you've been here before, thank you very much for your continued support. And if you're new and have enjoyed this video, maybe a cheeky subscribe isn't out of the question. A like, a comment, watching my other content, it all helps me on my YouTube journey. So thank you very much. Once I don't think I can do any more, I sand everything down one last time to 320 grit and begin my finishing process. I start with one very thin coat of hard wax oil to rejuvenate the wood. I got this awesome Gilboy's Premium Beeswax Furniture Polishing Kit, and I just have to show you everything that is so neatly packed in this treasure chest. It comes with 3 shades of beeswax polish for all types of wood, ultra soft wire wool, open weave cotton buffing cloth, and then it's got these groovy colour matched beeswax scratch repair blocks, which are actually about to help me with my next step. You may have spotted that this repair does have a bit of a gap. The veneer wasn't the exact fit, so I want to fill this gap with the wax repair block. And they're very easy to use. Just hold it over a candle or a burner of some sort to soften the wax, and then you apply it like a crayon. I then use some plastic to scrape it nice and flat and make sure I don't damage the wood. I decide to use antique gold on the darker scuttle and rose gold on the slightly lighter one. Although they do look quite dark in the jar, once applied it's just a very light tint. I use the fine steel wool to apply a generous amount of wax and leave it for about 20 minutes to half an hour to do its thing. After half an hour, I use the open weave cloth to buff the finish to a nice satin sheen. And as these are nearly ready for styling, it's time for Sunny to head off on a little adventure and get something to put in them. Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
I think we're good. You can turn around now. You've been successful.
Please let me know what you think in the comments, and until next time, take it easy.